Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Robin, this is Digital Wilds, and welcome back to Kathy Rain. In the last episode, we did some hacking on the computer. We got some old school password phishing going on, and we retrieved ourselves an interesting and mysterious image with some particularly eerie lights. So this time, we are heading off to the clinic, and we're going to try and track down Charles
All right,
Wade.
I'm off. Peace outie.
So with Eileen left to her biblical activities, we unlock ourselves at least 3 new locations, the nature reserve, the church and the clinic, and we might as well start as I mean to go on with the first one. This guy has gone through the process of being animated, so is clearly going to be an important part of the situation. Wasn't he the guy that was in jail at the sheriff's office?
We meet again, Mr. Homeless Guy.
Yes, he was.
Homeless? That's the worst thing I ever heard of, and totally untrue.
So, what's up with the trash can? Digging for treasure?
Well, I'm just going through a rough patch. By the way, you owe me $10.
Nah, you agreed to 7.
You're busting my balls here.
Better get those balls checked out in this clinic then.
So cold. Like a stake through the heart.
What do they call you anyway?
Goober. Everyone calls me Goober.
Alright, I'm Kathy.
Pleasure to meet you.
Okay, what's this guy
So,
about?
What's your story anyway?
My story?
Yeah, don't all bums have a story?
For your information, this is all just a dry streak in my showbiz career.
Is that so? I don't recognize you at all.
I used to have more hair.
That I actually believe.
Come on, man. Frankie Gold is my stage name. Surely you must have heard of me.
Not really, no.
Oh, come on. I have starred in dozens of Hollywood movies. Silence of the Lambert, Jacob's Bladder, The Usual Surprises, Natural Bald Killers.
Not ringing any bells.
Kids these days, no appreciation for quality cinema. Breaks my heart.
Okay, let's find out more.
Tell me about this acting career of yours.
What about it?
Tell me about The Silence of Lambert.
Lawrence Lambert, a real estate agent, suddenly turns mute overnight. For weeks, he tries to communicate with customers using a self-invented sign language, only to realize that true love needs no communication at all. He marries his housekeeper, who only knows 2 words in English, yes and clean. In the end, Lawrence dies of a heart attack in the arms of his lovely wife, Consuelo Lambert Vasquez. Based on a true story.
I'm not sure I want to know what Jacob's Bladder is about, but I'm gonna ask anyway.
Jacob's Bladder. The tragic story of Jacob Cobb, a schizophrenic man who forms an imaginary romantic relationship with his bladder. During long and joyful monologues on the can, he starts referring to his nether regions by the name of Jenny. Sadly, before Jacob has a chance to elope with his sweetheart, he gets committed to an asylum due to increasingly erratic behavior. After a big fight with his paramour, Jacob refuses to pee for a week, and he dies from a ruptured bladder.
That sounds difficult to film.
Give me the rundown on The Usual Surprises.
A lighthearted comedy taking place during the surprise birthday party of 34-year-old Sid McBacon. The story is told from 8 different perspectives to keep the audience guessing who the protagonist actually is. The movie ends with the biggest surprise of them all. Sid suddenly dies of an epileptic seizure. I guess it's more of a dark comedy.
Why do you always die at the end of your movies?
Typecasting.
Like Sean Bean.
Natural bald killers?
It's a dystopian vision of the future where people are valued by the quality of their hair. The protagonist, Eddie Zephyr, turns bald in high school. One day, he has simply had enough of all the teasing and the bullying, and he completely snaps and heads out on a scalping spree in search of the perfect head of hair. Eddie makes his way to Mexico for an illegal hair transplant. However, he has an adverse reaction to the anesthesia and he dies on the operating table.
Well, that was a lot of fun. I'm not entirely sure what use
Never
that
mind.
was, but
Not the cultured type. I understand.
we've learned a lot about film, I guess. Okay, I'm not sure what we talked to him about
That's
yet.
no
Let's
serious
go inside the
questions for
clinic
now.
and see if he's useful later, because that's a lot of dialogue to write for someone who wouldn't come up useful
Okay,
in a puzzle
I'm
at some
off.
point.
Bye.
Yep, it's full of trash. Figure that.
Should we dig
Yeah,
through the
I'm
trash
good,
can?
thanks.
No, apparently not. Alright, well, in we go.
She looks bored out of her mind. Pretty understandable, to be honest.
This place looks
no thanks.
surprisingly well
Women's
cared for.
magazines make my brain melt.
You're such a badass action chick, Kathy.
I can't read it from here. I can't read it from here.
No notice board for us. Okay, let's have a chat with the nurse.
Excuse me, nurse? Hey, nurse!
Yeah?
They don't pay you much, huh?
No shit. What do you want?
I'm here to see Charles Wade.
Never heard of him. Anything else?
Bullshit. I know he's here. Listen, it's okay. I'm a friend of the family.
No, you're not, and I said he's not here. Don't make me call security.
Okay, clearly getting the stone wall
What a
from here.
bitch. I need to get rid of her somehow.
Strangle her with her own headphones. Well, let's see if Goober can help. He's been good at distracting people before.
Hey, doofus.
Oh, hi.
So, how good an actor are you?
The best. The very best.
You know, that nurse in there, she said she loved you in all those movies, and that she always wished you'd give her a live performance.
I know it. She always gave me these strange looks. I thought it was contempt, but her face must just be cramping up from shyness.
Yeah, that's definitely it. She'd love to see you act, I'm sure.
I'm gonna have to oblige. Which movie do you think she'd like the best?
Ooh, okay. So the usual surprises is about like mysteries and different protagonists. So maybe that would sort of make him act like he was confused enough that she'd have to sort of intervene in some way, and we could get past. Natural Born Killers. I mean, I don't really want him to run in there and cut off her hair. Jacob's Bladder. That just sounded unpleasant. And the Silence of Lambert, oh god, that was the guy who goes mute and starts doing sign language, wasn't it? So it could be that or the usual surprises. Let's try usual surprises.
How about the usual surprises?
Business as usual.
Okay, well this I gotta see.
I can't believe you guys did all this for me. You know, what's that smell? Bacon? Oh, Bobby, my head hurts. I'm seizing.
Oh dear.
Thank you, thank you. You've been a great audience.
Okay.
That wasn't really an electrifying performance. I'll have to intervene somehow.
Okay, so I gotta do something with him. Electrifying? Do I have to stun him with the stun gun? Can I burn him with the light? I'm gonna try a couple of these, because I'm kind of curious to see how cruel Kathy can be. Okay, stun gun then.
Nurse! He's seizing!
Oh shit!
Those things can kill someone. Like, we might have just murdered Goober. Okay.
Man, I feel like a total jackass. I'll have to make it up to the poor guy later.
I mean, you might go to jail for, like, aggravated assault. That would be a thing that could happen. Can we
Rows
get
and
information
columns
off
of
the,
files. Probably easier to use the computer if I need to do some digging.
Okay, computer it is. Let's give that a go, while she's out of the way. Okay, needs a username and password. Can I use the special boot disk to blow up the computer? Okay. Extract admin password. C. Mendez. Otorgador. I don't know what that means. Fine. So now that's done. Let's have another go. C. Mendez. Otorgador. Okay, and we are in, and now I guess we have some kind of search function. Medical database. Right, okay. Wade. Aha. Born August 14th, 1924. So he'd be 96 years old now. No, he wouldn't. He'd be 71 because this is set in the 90s. Referral from Dr. A. Friedman, St. Francis Medical Center, KC, Kansas City. Patient has undergone successful invasive heart surgery and was transferred to facility at his own request. The initial prognosis looks good, and the patient is likely to make a full recovery in 6 to 8 weeks. Okay, seems reasonable. Room 6B, that's the important part. Aha! Looks like this is him.
It's all right, Claude. Understood, sir.
Is he playing with a Game Boy?
So, you managed to find me.
I did.
Well, let's get this over with then. How do you want your pictures? Shall I get some tubes to fill my face with? Will that suffice for your front page?
I'm no journalist. Well, not yet anyway.
Ah, she's but a cub. So, you're hoping for your big break.
He's rather creepy,
Surely
isn't he?
This must be worth an internship at one of the big papers. Do you want me to call Thompson at the Times and get it over with? I still play golf with him every once in a while.
Okay,
That's not what this is about. It's personal.
Sounds serious. Perhaps I should ask Claude to produce his gun.
You know, Charles, the person most likely to be harmed by a gun tends to be its owner.
Very true. That's something that Japs who captured me learned the hard way.
Did my grandfather bail you out then too, or was that one of the few times where he didn't save your sorry ass?
Hold on there. Explain yourself.
You're willing to listen to something other than your own voice? I'm stunned. I'm Kathy Rain. Joseph was my grandfather.
Now,
yeah, why so hostile?
you were at the funeral.
I was.
You were late.
I needed my morning smoke. Besides, it's not like Grandpa was going anywhere.
Oh, just look at her, Claude. She's absolutely fearless. That's Joseph's blood running through her veins.
She certainly has a smart mouth, sir.
I must say, you have me intrigued, Kathy. What can this old man help you with?
Okay, so we'll start with something to go on and ask about the incident in 81.
Do you know anything about what happened to my grandfather in 81?
I wish I did, Kathy. You must know I did everything in my power to help. How do you think Mary Elizabeth could afford all that expensive treatment? MRIs, neurologists, say what you will about Joseph. But he was never rich.
Strange. Grandma never mentioned that to me.
She's just too proud. At first she refused. She was convinced that I had an agenda, that there were strings attached.
And were there?
Don't be silly. Despite all that had happened, I still loved Joseph dearly. I wanted to help. People from places like this have a deeply rooted mistrust in the rich, passed on for generations. In her eyes, I had become one of them.
So that's all you know about the whole affair?
Are you implying that there's more to know? I left the diagnosis to the professionals. Mrs. Rain accepted the health care, but asked me to stay out of everything else. So I did.
I see. What can you tell me about your friendship with Grandpa?
Joseph was the best friend I ever had. We grew up together, married our high school sweethearts together, went to war together. I can't even begin to count the number of times he's saved my life. I repaid the favor once or twice, but he came up ahead, no doubt.
So, when did you two lose touch? I heard that something happened between you and him. What was it?
The truth is, Brian Rain happened. Sharon Evans happened.
My parents?
Yes. They ruined everything with their vile, destructive behavior. I couldn't have that around my daughter or my newborn grandson. Joseph was naive. He believed that anyone could be helped, that anyone could be reasoned with, given a chance. He was just too good, bless him. He should have been harder on Brian, more strict.
So, an interesting insight into the incident, except that he doesn't know much about it, or at least that's what he says. Okay, let's find out a little bit about Lily Myers and what he knows about her.
You bought a number of paintings by Lily Myers. Why?
I'm known to dabble in art from time to time. Martha, my wife at the time, was enamored with the paintings. I believe she first saw them at the high school which the Myers girl attended. Anyway, after the poor girl killed herself, I bought the paintings speculatively. When a young artist with any talent to speak of commits suicide, it can be a wet dream of certain connoisseurs. Shortly after procuring the art, I had it valued by an expert who determined that the value was 3 times the amount I bought it for. Today, I'm sure I would have made my money back tenfold or more if it wasn't for the art theft.
What art theft?
There was a burglary at the mansion I used to own here in town. It was all over the local news at the time.
Well, shit.
Eloquently put.
Okay, there's interesting. So the art was stolen. I mean, someone else has an interest in Lily Myers, and it's unethical, his reason for buying the art, but it does actually make sense if he's kind of a cold-hearted billionaire Mr. Burns type, that he just saw that there was value in it and went for it. Not inherently suspicious, anyway.
Do you recognize the call sign Cocky?
Would be strange if I didn't, since I was the one who coined it. It belongs to a fellow named Jimmy Cochran. He was a coward, really. The nickname is somewhat of a bad joke.
Perfect. Thanks.
Okay, so there's some more information. I guess we can get a bit more out of him out of this if it's not grayed out.
Tell me about Jimmy Cochran. Is he still alive?
In a literal sense. He's been held in a mental institution for years.
Let me guess. Since 81?
Either 82 or 83. I'm fairly certain it was early 83.
Do you remember the name of the institution?
Something starting with an E. Emerson, Everton, or similar.
Ingstrom? Ingstrom Psychiatric Hospital?
Yes, that's the one. You know the place, Kathy.
I do. My mother is in there. Sharon Evans? I had her committed about a year ago.
I see. It must have taken a lot of courage to do that, Kathy. Mothers have a lot of power over us. More than most of us care to
Well,
admit.
there we go.
I guess so.
Backstory,
Do you
at least.
know why Jimmy ended up in there?
Some obsessive-compulsive syndrome. He became fixated with circles and started hurting himself, trying to scratch the circles out of his head.
Creepy. I wonder what set him off. I think I'll check the place out tomorrow. Too late to head back to the city now.
It's surprising how well adjusted Kathy is for someone who's had her mother committed to a psychiatric hospital the previous year. I mean, she's a heavy smoker and she's clearly a bit of a wild child, but she's actually, really intelligent and observant and on this sort of self-motivated quest. I think she's done remarkably well out of what seems to be quite a difficult upbringing.
Can you tell me about the art theft?
Well, somebody broke in, stole the paintings, and got out. Fairly clumsy job. Lots of broken windows. The strangest thing was that I had a Monet, a Rembrandt, and 2 paintings by Picasso, untouched. But every single painting by an unknown local artist, gone.
That can't be a coincidence.
Agreed. Somebody wanted those paintings badly.
I assume there was an investigation.
Yes, Sheriff Truman came by with his deputy a few hours later, but they didn't have much luck. They found a few hairs, which turned out to be from Ruffles, the family dog.
Some stunning police work right there.
Indeed. There was a single witness, though, who said he could make out multiple burglars leaving the scene of the crime, but nothing more than that.
So, I take it the case was closed?
Yes. I honestly didn't care much one way or the other, given the fact that my most expensive pieces were safe and sound.
I think I'll have a chat with the sheriff about the matter, if that's okay with you.
Certainly. I'll call ahead and instruct him to give you everything you need.
That'd be great. Thanks, Charles.
Anytime. But I'm curious, what's your interest in the paintings?
I've learned that my grandfather went to Sue and asked to see them, right before he had his injury.
Oh, yes.
So strange.
That is interesting. Well, before we go, might as well ask about the
What
church.
can you tell me about the Church of the Holy Trinity?
They seem like any other church to me. But then again, I'm not their usual clientele. Weddings, baptisms, and funerals are just about what I can muster. And I always leave early.
Not the Christian type, then. Okay. Let's show
Do
them
you
the photo of the
recognize this,
soldiers.
Charles?
Of course, your grandfather, me, Jimmy Cochran, taken shortly before we went to the war.
You guys look like you just won the lottery or something.
Indeed, we were mere children, with no concept of what we were getting into.
Yep, checks out. Anything else we can show? What about the lights?
What do you see in this picture, Charles?
Fireflies would be my best guess. They can grow terribly large around these parts.
Okay, clearly he's not going to be much help. In which case, what about
Do
this?
you know what this is?
A flower. Why don't you consult a botanist instead of bothering me with this nonsense?
Okay, I think we have just about
Charles. That's all
got
I
through
know.
all we can get from Charles Wade at this point. Let's assume not get anything out of
I'd rather
Claude.
not. He crushed me like a twig.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, well, off we go then. In which case, let's check out a couple of the new locations before we go and speak to the sheriff. I reckon he's going to be what moves the story forward, but we've got these new locations, so we might as well go and have a look. Looks like our pet bum has gone, which is not really unsurprising given we tasered him. Okay, nature reserve. Well, here's the flower we were looking for.
Well, this is it. This is where the picture was taken. I'm not sure what I expected to find here.
Wasn't the flower on the other side of the image? Oh, hello.
What the?
We've met before, haven't we?
You were in a creepy dream. Yeah, you look like a character out of a series of unfortunate events.
I doubt it. You look like you just escaped from a circus. That's not really my kind of gig.
Yet you always play the part of the clown, Kathy.
Who are you? How do you know my name?
You told me, remember?
This is getting creepy
I
now.
feel strange. Am I dreaming?
It's the mending I will try to facilitate.
You're not real. I'm lying asleep in my bed right now.
Focus, Kathy. Listen to the drowned girl.
Oh,
You mean
God.
Lily? What about her?
She's the anomaly, the missing refrain, the convergence point of things past and events yet to happen.
Dial down the metaphors a notch, would you, Mr. Kafka? I get enough of that shit in English class.
I knew you wouldn't disappoint. I'm glad, given how much trouble I went through to be here. You see, my name was taken from me, so I claimed a color in its stead. The next time we meet, you'll know the exact hue of red. You're on the right path, Kathy. Follow your grandfather, and everything will work out in the end.
Okay, we have seriously gone in a slightly magic realist direction, which I wasn't expecting from this game. I kind of liked it when it was a more contemporary setup, but we'll see what Captain Creepy Bold Red does.
Am I going crazy? Am I turning into Mom?
Okay, well, I kind of want to go back and see if he's still there, because I reckon we didn't get a chance to look at the flower or anything.
Hello?
Oh, okay, yeah, creepy guy's gone, but there's some kind of thing on the floor.
Creepy bald guy. Guess no one's home.
Okay, well, this is better. Let's have a look at the flower.
It's endangered. I'm not gonna take it without a really good reason.
It's a puzzle item in an adventure game? That's a good reason.
What's this?
I don't know, what is it? Let's have a closer look.
A bald man dressed in red. Oh, creepy.
Uh-oh. Who do we know who draws like that? It's the guy with learning difficulties, isn't it? And the Lily's brother, Bobby, or whatever his name was. That could be bad. That could mean something's happened to him. Hey, it's a seagull on the roof this time. Fine, can't do anything with the seagull.
Oh, it's you again. Come on in.
Okay, clearly the sun is alright if she's in such a chipper mood. Although I'm not quite sure where he is.
No Nathan today?
Nathan, that's his
Nah,
name.
haven't seen Nate all day. Probably out in the woods.
Okay, well, let's have a look at his drawings quickly while he's not here to guard them. Aha! Me, Lily, yeah.
That must be Lily. She seems very happy.
It's not exactly a true-to-life drawing, is it? That should fit with the other half of the picture. Aha!
Looks like Nathan knows the strange red man. I need to talk to him about this.
Is that their dad? I think he's in jail, isn't he? Is the red man my granddad come back to life?
I had a few more questions, Sue.
Shoot.
Do you know who the red man is?
Oh, that's just Nate's imaginary friend. The red man has been around ever since my boy was little.
I see. So there's no actual person in town he could be referring to?
No way! According to Nathan, the red man hasn't changed in 30 years.
Sounds like he has quite an active imagination then.
Oh, you have no idea. He has unique names for each of the kitchen utensils. Enough said.
Bit disappointed that this is represented as him having learning difficulties, because I also sort of do that. I anthropomorphise all my kitchen utensils. I don't like using some of the spoons more than others. Well, I guess we go to the church, and then we can go to the sheriff's office. Oh good, it's called the Catmobile. That's slightly stomach-churning. Okay, this place looks relatively
Hello,
normal
Father.
apart from the weird
Greetings, my child.
icon
I'm
of
glad you
the
decided
glowing
to come
orbs.
here.
Yeah, but just so you know, I'm not here to join your church or anything.
Oh, I would never assume that.
Good. So, with that out of the way, I have some questions.
Anything you need. I'm Isaac Price.
Kathy Rain, but I'm guessing you figured that out already.
I did. Rumors spread quickly around here. So how can I be of service?
Ask him about the church.
Care to tell me the history of the church?
I'd be happy to. The story is a fascinating one. This church was founded by my father, William T. Price, in the 70s. Back then, he made his living as a traveling salesman and was driving through this area as he'd done so many times before. However, this day was different. My father held dark thoughts in his mind. He was angry, thinking of evil deeds, even considering swerving off the road into a rock and ending it all. Then suddenly, divine intervention. 3 bright lights appeared. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, the sign of God. This epiphany was the moment my father had been waiting for. He sold all of his belongings and took me and my brother to live with him here in Conwell Springs. Soon thereafter, he built this church and started gathering followers. They began to refer to him as Father Bill.
I take it that window up there resembles what he saw when he had this epiphany?
Indeed, the stained glass window depicts the Holy Trinity as witnessed by my father.
Do you know exactly when or where this event took place?
Why do you ask?
Oh, just curious. It's a captivating story.
Well, it was in the spring of 1971, but my father never told anyone where.
Okay, so what happened then?
People flocked to Father Bill. He started teaching, writing scripture. The church flourished and continued to grow all the way up until his sudden death in 1983. That's when I stepped in to take leadership of the church.
I take it that the church started declining after the death of Father Bill?
Yes, naturally so. With such a magnetic personality, he was irreplaceable. But I assure you the church is still very much thriving.
Looks kinda empty to me.
It's not really our peak hours.
What's up with you handing out pamphlets at funerals then? Trying to reel people in at a weak moment?
I'm going to assume you meant no disrespect, child. I'm simply providing divine guidance when it's needed the most.
Bit creepy, but sort of checks out. This is obviously an evil cult, but we haven't quite got the proof yet. Might as well ask about the incident.
Do you know anything about what happened to my grandfather in 81?
It was the work of the devil, I'll say that much. Joseph was a kind man. He did not deserve such a fate. You heard my speech at the funeral, Kathy. I meant every word.
Actually, I didn't really. I was late.
Who did much good for this community.
Did you know him personally?
In a way, he and my father did charity work together. Joseph was around a lot when I was young. They collaborated on a few different projects for the homeless and for the troubled youth, among other things.
So my grandfather was a member of the church?
I wouldn't say that, no. He was a friend of the church, but he wasn't a religious man. He believed only in philanthropy. That being said, Joseph was the person who convinced me to become a priest.
Really?
Oh yes, I was a teenager back then, full of rebellion, every fiber of my being wanting to distance myself from my father. Joseph made me realize my sinful pride, and showed me how I should follow my heart, regardless of what others might think. And for that, I'm eternally grateful.
Okay, he's not going to know Jimmy Cochran. I doubt he's going to know Lily Myers, he's way too young. He's pretty not going to know the Red Man. Might know about the art theft.
Do you know anything about an art theft at the Wade estate in the 80s?
I have just a vague memory of reading about it in the paper.
Yeah, he's not going to know this. Okay, that's enough for now.
I need to ask him about a few more things before I go.
Okay, apparently not.
Does the name Lily Myers mean anything to you?
It does. I was a substitute teacher in her high school for some time before I was ordained.
Really? Did you know her personally?
That's bloody convenient.
We weren't close. I only knew her as much as a teacher would know any student.
Alright, so how did she seem toward the end?
For one, she started skipping school a lot, and when she did show up, she was absent-minded and moody. She always looked depressed and hunched down like she had a whole world on her shoulders.
Any idea of what caused this change?
Not a clue. All I know is that when she returned from that last summer break, she was a whole different person.
Okay, he's not going to know Jimmy Cochran, but we'll try.
Do you know who Jimmy Cochran is?
I don't recognize that name, no.
No, thought not.
This may sound strange, but have you heard of or seen a strange man dressed in red?
Only our Lord and Savior Jesus. Surely his rags were drenched in blood as he lay upon the cross.
That's not what I meant.
Are you joking? I haven't seen a person like that, no.
Okay.
That's all I need for now, Father.
Yeah.
May the Lord shine his
I want to
light.
get out of this creepy place, frankly. Much nicer than Rabbi Stone's synagogue if you watched the Shiva playthrough. Okay, Sheriff's Station then. We got to go talk to this guy about the art theft. Here's my reject pal.
Hello, Sheriff. Mind if I ask you a few more questions?
If you must.
Okay, art theft.
Do you know anything about the art theft in the Wade estate?
Yes, Mr. Wade phoned ahead about that. Lenny,
Yes, boss.
get the report from the burglary in the Wade estate back in 86.
On it, boss. There you go, Kathy.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, we got ourselves the police report. Guess we'll better have a look. March 11th, 86, 1:12 a.m. The alarm in the Wade estate is triggered. The house is empty at the time. The neighbours contact law enforcement. 2:04 a.m. Officers arrive at the scene. Several broken windows can be observed. A sweep of the estate and surrounding premises reveals no trace of the perpetrators. 2:20 a.m. A single witness, identified as Franklin Goldfarb, reports seeing multiple burglars leaving the scene of the crime. April 12th, 1986, 12:15 a.m. Charles Wade arrives in Conwell Springs to make an official statement. After examining the house, he reports that paintings with an excess value of $15,000 have been stolen. April 26th. The art in question has not yet popped up in any circles that are known to deal with stolen goods, terminating investigation due to lack of leads. Okay, there's interesting.
I gotta find this Goldfarb guy. Maybe he knows more about the burglary.
Goldfarb. Okay. Could ask Lenny. Yeah, who's this guy?
Does the name Franklin Goldfarb mean anything to you?
Sounds familiar, but I can't place him.
Okay.
Well, gotta go.
See ya.
What about the sheriff? Does he know Goldfarb?
Does the name Franklin Goldfarb mean anything to you?
Never heard of him. Anything else?
Okay, not him
That's
then.
all for now.
Who else can we go and ask? Wade? Or... We probably can't get back into Wade. Grandma? Might as well go see her. We haven't done anything this episode with her. Hi, Grandma. Have you moved since your husband died? Nope, doesn't look like it.
Oh, Does the name Franklin Goldfarb mean anything to you?
Oh, that poor man. He used to be an upstanding citizen, you know. Now he's constantly drinking and keeps babbling on about that imaginary
Oh, we know this
for
guy.
love.
Yeah, we shot him with a
Sad
stun
thing.
gun.
Do you know where I can find him?
He's homeless, dear. Lost his job a few years ago and never really got back on his feet.
Okay, now I know who you're talking about. Thanks, Grandma.
Yeah, we put him in the hospital a while
Looks
back.
like I'm gonna have to have a chat with Goober. I need a word, Miss Mendez.
Wait, how do you know my name?
It's written on that board behind you, genius.
You have the eyesight of a bald eagle or something?
What can I say? I'm a freak of nature. What happened to Goober, anyway?
Who?
The guy who had the seizure?
Oh, he ran off somewhere. Kept babbling about a religious near-death experience.
Okay, thanks.
I'm amazed he was conscious after what I did to him, frankly. But okay, religious experience means he's off to the church. Oh yeah, there he is, in the front row, as you would.
Hello again, Goober.
You again? Are you stalking me, girl? You pop up everywhere I go. I'll try to tone down the charm, but I can't promise anything.
Huh, yeah, you're quite the charmer.
I know. I just said that, man.
Listen, I feel kind of bad about the electrocution.
Oh, that's what it was. What a cherry on top of my stellar performance.
Yeah, it was pretty convincing.
So what brings you to the house of God? Come to repent?
I'm afraid that ship has long since sailed, buddy. I had a few things I wanted to ask you about, though.
Shoot, Missy!
Okay, Goldfarb.
Your real name is Franklin Goldfarb, right?
Oh, nobody calls me that.
Regardless, I know for a fact that you were a witness to a burglary a few years back, at the Wade estate.
Yeah, what about it?
Why don't you tell me what you saw exactly?
I heard the alarm go off, glass breaking, then I saw 3 guys running away, carrying a bunch of stuff.
What did they look like?
It was dark, I don't know, they were definitely 3 big, bulky guys. They
what?
Oh, nothing, that's it. Didn't see anything else.
Bullshit, spit it out.
Well, one of those guys dropped his ring when running away. I sort of pawned it.
A ring? What kind of ring?
Platinum with an inscription. 2 letters, B something.
S.
Man, I don't remember. My photographic memory stopped working in 1979.
Which pawn shop was that?
Pete's Pawning and Plumbing. It closed down a long time ago, though. Owner left town. There's a coffee shop back there now.
Too bad. Guess that's a dead end. Thanks anyway. Didn't I see 2 letters fitting that description recently? Not on a building. It was something small.
2 letters, that's the kind of thing you don't forget. I don't know, what do we got that's small? Oh, hello!
Did the inscription on the ring look anything like this?
Wow, actually exactly like that.
BH. How bizarre.
Any idea what BH stands for?
Beehive? Bet high? Big head?
Okay, I think we're getting away further with
that's
this.
all for
Let's try Captain Religious over here. He might know.
I'm sorry, but no.
I don't know. I don't know where we're going to check this otherwise. Try Grandma again.
Do you recognize the acronym BH? It's on Dad's lighter.
Yes, dear, it means the Black Hats. They're those ruffians on motorcycles whom your father associated with.
Small world.
Oh,
So
he's
our
biker.
dad
That
robbed
makes
the Wade household. That's interesting.
What can you tell me about the Black Hats?
I refuse to talk about those hoodlums. They turned your father into a horrible person. You should stay far away from them, Kathy. They're awful people, just awful.
Bye, Grandma. I'll be back later.
Understood.
So long.
Well, if they're a motorcycle gang, the cops will probably know about them. We can go ask the guys at the station.
What can you tell me about the Black Hats?
They've caused us trouble from time to time, but they've been kind of quiet lately. We put a few of their captains in the slammer over the years, but we never managed to find enough dirt on their leader. Bo Brunson. Big Bo.
Is that going to turn out
Do
to
you
be
know
our
where I can
dad?
find them?
Yeah, hold on. Let me just find a map.
Got it. Thanks.
Well, that was easy. They don't normally give out locations
gotta
of
go.
criminal gang headquarters in rural police stations, surely. Well, at the very least, we've got the new location, so I guess we'll go check that out. Second row of locations. That's a terrible logo. Is this a deliberate homage to Full Throttle with the...
Sweet butt incoming!
Like hell I am. I'm nobody's property.
You sure? Doesn't she look like a sweet butt? Little slut? I think she does.
Okay, you're cruising for a zapping.
Step off, creep.
Or what? You tell your daddy on me?
If he's a member of the gang, that might actually be quite effective.
You better learn quickly, asshole. Back the fuck off.
Oh, I love it when they play hard to get.
Let go of me.
Into bar, immediately accosted by a rapist. Okay, well, we know how to deal with this. Good stuff. Still has charge from zapping Goldfarb too.
What the hell's going on out here?
Nothing, Prez. Just having a bit of fun with this gash here.
I suggest you leash that dog of yours.
For fuck's sake, Prospect, not again. Get the hell out of here.
Sorry, boss, I'll go. Fuck, that hurt, you cunt.
Well acted line there. Who's this guy then? He seems
He'll be disciplined for that.
dressed differently to the
He
rest,
better
so
be.
he's clearly some
I
kind of
take it you're
important
Beau?
plot character.
I am. And who are you, darling?
Kathy Rain.
Bullshit. She lives in the city with her deranged mother. Who are you, really?
Famously, nobody is allowed to leave
Randall send
cities.
You?
No, they didn't. I am Kathy Rain.
Prove it, then.
I don't know.
I would, but I left my ID back home.
That's convenient. I think I've wasted enough time with you.
I need to figure out some proof.
I got the lighter. It's got the black hat logo on it. Wouldn't recognise my granddad. Nothing else here. Yeah, why not?
This proof enough for you?
I'll be damned. That's Brian's lighter, all right. Sorry about the paranoia. We've had some problems with the vandals lately.
I get it. Can't be too careful.
Much like the Romans.
Oh, that's your ride out there. Corley Motors, right? 78?
76.
You got the same taste as your old man. He always rode Corleys.
Played a lot of adventure
Probably
games back in the
only
90s.
thing he and I have in common.
Did you set up those mods yourself? Looks custom made for your small frame.
Yeah, took some time to get the measurements right.
I imagine so. Girls like you don't often ride heavy bikes.
I'm not most girls.
Ain't that the truth? Most girls don't just waltz into places like this either.
I guess you'd know. Anyway, I had some questions for you in the club.
Go ahead then. Your old man was a good brother, so I'll indulge you for now.
Okay. Well, the art theft is clearly the main thing. I don't want a little potted history of the club. Won't know Lily Myers. Nothing to do with the incident. Nothing about Jimmy Cochran. Yeah, fine.
Tell me, how long have you been the president of this club?
15 years now, give or take. VP for 10 before that.
Good. Then you can tell me why you stole Lily Myers' paintings from Charles Wade in '86.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but I'd recommend you be careful with wild accusations like that.
Fine. Is there anything I can do for the club to earn your trust?
You mean like cleaning the toilets? Making coffee? I think we got that covered, Cupcake.
Spare me your sexist bullshit. I can take care of business.
You're nothing like your old man, you know that?
I take that as a compliment.
You do that. In any case, I've had enough of this nonsense. Stop pushing your luck.
Okay, fine.
Alright, I'm gonna hit the road.
Right on. I have some business to take care of, but make yourself at home.
Thanks, Beau. See you around.
Alright. Can I buy a drink? I need to sort of make myself at home here.
Hey, Brian's girl.
Yeah?
I overheard you. I'm Emmett.
Nice mustache.
The boss man isn't usually that grumpy. He's got a lot on his mind. But I think I may know of a way to loosen him up.
I'm all ears, buddy.
Well, Beau and Brian are the double Bs, as we used to call them. They used to have this drink together. Brian came up with it. He called it a Bloodier Mary.
Sounds like my kind of drink.
Yeah,
Extra
it's
tomatoes.
basically a Bloody Mary, but with pig blood instead of tomato juice.
That sounds absolutely awful.
Take that back. Gross.
I'm kidding. It's just a Bloody Mary, but with a special ingredient added to it.
If you say that special ingredient is blood, I will literally punch you.
No. Brian refused to tell anyone what it was. He only made it for special occasions. It's probably something uncommon, like a rare herb or some kind of expensive spice.
Or an endangered
So
flower?
let me guess. If I can produce this drink for Bo, you think he would help me out?
It'll make him remember Brian, which should go a long way. He hasn't had that drink since your old man disappeared. Brian was like a son to him. The boss would have died for him back in the day. If you could recall the good times with your father, he might change his mind.
I guess it could be worth a try. But wait, why are you helping me?
You're Brian's kid. That means you're family. We take care of family.
Well, how was that drink compared with a regular Bloody Mary?
Tasted a bit more like pepper and had a punch to it. It usually gave some pretty nasty hangovers. Oh, if you had a lot of them, you'd hallucinate some crazy shit. Pretty wild.
Trippy. Thanks.
You're welcome, darling.
Okay, well this is pretty obvious. We know where the flower is. It's in the forest where we met the creepy bald guy. And it's helpfully on the little thumbnail for the location there. Yeah, here it is. Let's grab that.
Sorry, endangered flower, but I really need to make a drink.
Okay, and flower in hand. Let's head back to the bar.
I'd like a Bloody Mary.
Coming right up.
Oh, and add this, will you? Just something I like for flavor. Put it in a blender.
Whatever you say. One Bloody Mary. Enjoy.
Here we are. We didn't
Thanks, buddy.
pay for it, which would have
The
been...
club will cover that, Jose.
Sure thing, VP.
Thanks again, Emmett.
Oh,
You
okay.
got it.
That is at least addressed in universe. Fair enough. I've ordered drinks in American bars before, and I don't like how they always put you on a tab. That's not a thing we do in the UK. I was really confused by it. I had to sort of ask the bartender just to let me pay up front, because it just made more sense.
Hey, Bo. I've got something for you.
I recognize that smell. You found your dad's recipe.
Something like that.
Man, is this a trip down memory lane. I keep expecting Brian to walk in here any second. You know, all this nostalgia is making me remember how much I really owe your old man.
Yeah?
Yeah, so here's the deal. In '86, Carl, my VP at the time, came to me and said he had a job lined up for the club. Some guy had offered him good dough for stealing a bunch of paintings from a mansion. He needed 2 brothers for the job. I was busy with other things at the time, so I gave my permission as long as the club got the usual cut. He returned a week later with a nice wad of cash. I didn't realize it was Wade he had knocked off until I read the paper. If I had known that, I'd advised against it. Wade is a powerful man with friends in city council. There's no reason to piss him off.
Got it. So, what do you know about the guy who hired you for the job?
Not much. Carl said it was some bearded preacher.
Whoa, Isaac from the Church of the Holy Trinity?
Could be. I don't know who that is. It was a priest. I know that much.
Thanks, Bo. I'm gonna follow up on this right away.
That's it? You're not gonna ask me about what happened to your old man? Not even curious?
I couldn't give 2 shits about that asshole.
Bullshit. Don't expect anyone to believe you're that angry with someone you don't give 2 shits about.
Either he's dead or he abandoned me. Do any of those options look appealing to you?
They don't, but you should know that no one from the club had anything to do with it. I meant it when I said Brian was a good brother. He had no enemies here. Not then, and not now.
Comforting to hear, Mr. President.
Shut up and listen, girl. I'm trying to tell you something. Brian used to talk about heading to Mexico, about riding off into the sunset and getting away from all his newfound responsibilities. And I think part of him was serious. You deserve to know that there's a chance he's still out there somewhere.
Sure. Let's hope that bastard is living it up somewhere.
Just take care of yourself, you hear?
You too.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
That day went by fast. I think I'm gonna ask if I can stay the night at Grandma's.
Well, there we are. Looks like we're at the end of day 3. That was quite a long and action-packed one. We'll see what Grandma makes of all this. Hopefully she's nice to us.
Hello, sweetheart.
Hey, Grandma, it got kinda late. Would it be okay if I stayed the night?
Of course, dear. Have a seat. I'll make you something to eat.
Oh, you're the best. I'm starving.
Cheers, Gram. So more dreams tonight. Oh, we're back
Do
in
you see?
weird Hell Lily house.
You are both unwanted, both discarded. Good. Lick the flames, buddy boy. Lick the flames and feel the hatred burn.
Okay. I just saw the red guy creep past the window. That I wasn't the only one who saw that, right?
Painting, burning, and the kid from the cemetery. It's gotta mean something.
Well, it does indeed, but unfortunately we're going to have to leave that for next episode because we've been recording for quite a while. But I think this is a natural point to stop. So thank you again for sitting through another episode of Kathy Rain. There are only going to be a couple more days left of this now. I think we are drawing towards the end. So next week, hopefully, we will finish this off. Thanks again for watching. If you'd like to help the channel grow, you can always subscribe. And I am on Patreon at patreon.com/digitalwilds. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.